Picture the scene. You've just got your hands on the new iPhone. You admire its sleek design, the weight of it in your hand. Then you flip the box over to read the fine print. For over a decade, one phrase has been a constant: assembled in China. It's been the undisputed reality of modern electronics, but this time something is different. The familiar phrase is gone. In its place, a new declaration that signals a monumental shift in the global tech landscape: made in India. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. This is a change that is quietly and rapidly unfolding right now. With every new iPhone, a tectonic shift is occurring. For years, Apple, the world's most valuable company, has been inextricably linked to China. Their manufacturing prowess built the iPhone empire, but behind the scenes, a massive pivot is underway. In a strategic move to de-risk its operations, Apple is orchestrating a multi-billion-dollar shift away from its longtime partner. And while many in the West hoped for a homecoming for manufacturing jobs, Apple has turned its gaze elsewhere. The heir apparent to China's manufacturing throne isn't America, it's India. This raises a cascade of critical questions. Why India, a country that until recently was a minor player in high-end electronics? What does it have that the United States, with all its political pressure to bring jobs home, apparently lacks? Is it simply about lower costs, or is there a more complex geopolitical game at play? For Apple, is this a masterstroke or a risky gamble? For China, is this the beginning of the end of its reign as the world's factory? And most importantly, what does this mean for you? Will your next iPhone be cheaper? Will the quality remain the same? And how will this shift reshape the global balance of power? In this video, we'll unpack the entire story. For years, almost every iPhone was assembled in China. Apple's partnership with Foxconn and China's massive supply chain made it efficient and cheap. But global politics have changed everything. The US and China are locked in trade disputes, tariffs are rising, and both countries want more control over critical technology. Apple, caught in the middle, has to adapt. Over the last few years, Apple has started moving assembly lines out of China. India, with its huge workforce and growing tech sector, is becoming the new hub. Foxconn and Tata, two of Apple's key partners, are now building iPhones in Indian plants. Some reports even say that US-bound iPhones could be assembled in India as early as 2026. This means that the phone in your pocket may soon have a Made in India label. You might be asking, why not just build iPhones in America? It's a question that echoes through political rallies. After all, that's what many politicians have demanded, promising to bring high-tech manufacturing jobs back to US soil. The vision is compelling. American factories and the pride of a Made in the USA stamp. But turning this political soundbite into reality is far more complex than it seems, involving a web of economics, logistics, and global strategy. Let's start with the most straightforward barrier. Here's the truth. Building iPhones in the US would be incredibly expensive. Industry analyses suggest assembling an iPhone stateside could increase its final retail price by as much as $100. While some consumers might say they'd pay more, that's a significant leap that could erode Apple's competitive edge in a cutthroat global market. The sticker shock alone presents a massive hurdle. A major driver of that cost is labor. It's not just that US labor costs are higher, it's a matter of scale and flexibility. In China, manufacturing hubs employ hundreds of thousands of workers, allowing for an unparalleled ability to scale production up or down almost overnight to meet global demand. This ecosystem, complete with adjacent worker dormitories, is simply not replicable within the current US labor framework. It's a system built for immense rapid-fire production. Beyond labor, there's the deeply entrenched supply chain. For decades, a specialized manufacturing ecosystem has flourished in Asia. The supply chain, from chips to screens to tiny screws, is spread across the continent, with suppliers often located just hours from final assembly plants. This creates incredible efficiency. Relocating this entire production ecosystem would cost Apple billions, create logistical nightmares, and delay product launches for years. So, Apple is making a strategic compromise. Instead of moving final assembly, Apple is investing hundreds of billions in US manufacturing for high-value components like advanced semiconductors and specialized glass. This creates high-skilled American jobs and secures its supply of critical parts. But the final, labor-intensive assembly, as Apple diversifies away from China to mitigate geopolitical risks that's heading to India and Vietnam, it's a global chess game, and for now, assembled in USA isn't the winning move. Now, don't think Apple is abandoning China completely. Far from it. China still makes critical components and Foxconn's biggest factories are still there. But Beijing is tightening its rules and doesn't want Apple exporting advanced manufacturing secrets. By diversifying into India, Apple reduces its risk. If US-China tensions escalate, Apple won't be trapped. This move has huge consequences. For India, it's a massive win. India wants to become the world's next manufacturing powerhouse, and Apple's presence could create hundreds of thousands of jobs. For China, it's a warning sign. Losing iPhone assembly means losing billions of dollars in exports and prestige. For the US, it's complicated. America won't see iPhones built domestically anytime soon, but Apple's big investments in chips and infrastructure still bring jobs to US soil. So, the next time you unbox a new iPhone, consider what you're really holding. It's more than just cutting-edge tech, it's a tangible symbol of a monumental global power shift. For decades, the story of mass manufacturing was written almost exclusively in China. But Apple's pivot to India signals the start of a new chapter. This isn't just about one company diversifying, it's a reflection of a broader geopolitical realignment, a strategic de-risking from Beijing as corporations seek to build a more resilient global economy. We are witnessing in real time the deliberate decentralization of the world's factory floor. This strategic move lays bare just how fragile and intensely political our technology has become. The pandemic exposed the critical vulnerabilities of concentrating production in a single region, with lockdowns in China's iPhone city grinding the global supply to a halt. Simultaneously, the escalating trade and tech rivalry between the US and China has turned supply chains into a geopolitical battleground. Apple's decision wasn't made in a corporate vacuum. It's a direct response to this new reality, a calculated maneuver to navigate the treacherous waters of 21st century great power competition. But this raises crucial questions for everyone. Will this massive undertaking make iPhones better, cheaper and safer? The safer part, in terms of supply chain security, is the primary goal. But cheaper is less certain. While labor costs in India are lower, the immense investment in new factories and training is staggering. These savings may be absorbed by the transition or simply bolster Apple's bottom line. And will they be better? India's ecosystem is still maturing, and matching the precision and scale of China's operations is a formidable challenge. The larger concern is whether this move will pour fuel on the fire of a new global tech war, accelerating a split into competing technological blocks. One thing, however, is certain. The iconic phrase etched on every device, designed by Apple in California, is here to stay. It represents the core of Apple's identity, its innovation and design. But the second half of that story, the part about where these ideas are brought to life, is being rewritten before our very eyes. The era of assembled in China as the default is ending, and the map of global manufacturing is changing forever.